In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the exact system that took me from zero to $105,000 generated with online coaching as a random Hungarian 20-year-old. And this will also be the simplest system for scaling your online coaching business that you will ever see. And although there are a couple of very important prerequisites that you first need to take care of before even implementing it, the client journey you can probably implement it within 7 days. So if you don't know who I am, I'm David. Hey, I'm a growth partner and consultant for online coaches and consultants, and I help them build and manage systems to scale their business effectively and exponentially. So you can see a couple of Stripe screenshots just for social proof over here. Those are a couple of my clients. And let's start with the prerequisites, because what I see very often is that the success of a certain coaching business that I work with is not necessarily dependent on the exact tactics and strategies that they are using, and not even the niche that they are in. They are dependent on two very specific things that can only be fixed outside of the business. So let's start with the personal life. There is a saying out there that says work on yourself more than you do on your job. And this is also true for entrepreneurs. So if you're an online coach or consultant, then this is still true for you, that you have to prioritize internal mastery before even trying to find the right tactics for your traffic, lead mechanism, sales process, or whatever it may be. Internal mastery is the most important, because internal mastery will make everything easier. What even is internal mastery, you might be asking yourself? Well, first, internal mastery will allow you to have a deeper understanding of your ICP, your ideal client profile, because you will be more in touch with yourself. And if you're more connected with yourself, then you will be more connected with other people as well. If you have conviction in yourself, you will also have more conviction in your offer, and your sales ability will get easier. If you have consistency and discipline, which come with internal mastery, then everything in your business will become easier. And if you have a solution-oriented thinking, which comes with internal mastery, whenever a problem arises in your business, you will see it as a challenge, and you will take it head on and solve it as soon as possible. And if you have all of these, so you have a deep understanding of your ICP and of yourself, you have conviction in yourself, you have consistency and discipline, and you have solution-oriented thinking, then your effectiveness in your business will be increased as well. Your communication will become better, you will be more creative, you will be more productive, etc., etc. And this will make everything so much easier from here. Because very often I see that someone is not really limited in their sales ability by how much they know about sales, but rather in their conviction in themselves. And because their conviction is lacking, I can implement thousands of systems for them and thousands of technical little details, and they will still not close anyone on call. So the first one is personal life optimization, having internal mastery. The second prerequisite is having a transformational home run offer. So a transformational offer essentially means that you are focusing your offering and what you bring to the market to a very specific transformation of a very specific avatar. So if we look at your ICP, your ideal client profile over here, this is their current state, and they want to get to their desired state. They are feeling dissatisfied for some reason with their current state. Maybe if you're a fitness coach, then it's their weight. If you're a marketing coach, then it's their bank account. If you're an anxiety coach, then it's their anxiety, essentially. And they have this desired state where they want to get. And your only job when crafting a transformational home run offer is to help these people overcome the true roadblocks and get them to their desired state. Now, it's very important to note that the perceived roadblocks of your ICP are not always the actual true roadblocks that they are facing. Maybe they just have a distorted worldview. So what you need to do is market by helping them overcome their perceived roadblocks and deliver it by helping them overcome their actual roadblocks. I will show you all of this in a very specific example, namely my client Brian over here, because Brian is marketing to narcissistic abuse survivors. And although he's marketing by telling people he will help them get over narcissistic abuse, in reality, he helps people find their true self, because that is the actual roadblock that they are facing. So don't be limited by what the perceived roadblocks are, and don't be limited by the actual roadblocks. Just realize that maybe what you're marketing is not necessarily what your avatar actually needs. But don't be afraid to call out their perceived roadblocks. Don't be afraid to talk about these, even if your service will be focusing on a slightly different problem that they are actually facing, and that's actually preventing them from getting to their desired state. So once you have that, then you can also construct your offer statement. So you can say, I help Avatar go from A to B in time frame with my method. For example, for my client Brian, it would be, I help narcissistic abuse survivors go from feeling emotionally drained to becoming emotionally free in 30 days with my breakthrough paradigm protocol. So that could be an example. And once you have locked in these prerequisites, then you can finally go to the client journey. You can finally start optimizing things that you have been optimizing before even looking at the prerequisites so far. And don't worry, everyone is doing that, but now you have the chance to finally pay attention to these prerequisites and then get into the client journey. So in the client journey, you'll have a couple of steps. The traffic, the lead mechanism, converting traffic into booked calls, the sales process, converting booked calls into actual clients, the onboarding process, which will get clients, newly closed clients, to actually trust your business, and then the service delivery, which will then at the end spit out testimonials if done right, like over here. So let's start with the traffic element of things. There is always, at each and every step, there is one thing that you want your prospect to say or your client to say. There's only one thing that you want them to think, nothing else, just one thing. So for example, when they first see your content, you want them to say that, that looks interesting. I must stick around to find more. That's all that they need to say. And everything else is just fancy technical BS that other marketing gurus are feeding you. This is the only goal that you have. This is the only objective that you have when acquiring traffic. Then with the lead mechanism, you need to get people to say that I need the promised results, and I know that, or I think that it could work for me because it sounds like it could work for me. Because then you can get people to book calls. Then thirdly, then you have to get them to say, I think this has a high perceived likelihood of achievement. I want the promised outcome. I think it's low effort and sacrifice, and I think it's low time delay. Then you will be able to close them. Then you will actually be able to get money from them. And once that's done, then in the onboarding, you need to get them to say, all right, these guys are on top of their game. I'm happy I went with them. This is all that you need from them. And then in the service delivery, the only thing you need them to say is, wow, these results are amazing. I need to share this with other people, because then they will help you with, leaving you testimonials, interviews, and they will be happy to further your business. So let's start with the traffic. What even are we doing when we are talking about traffic? So again, in Brian's example over here, Brian can talk about a couple of different topics in order to reach his ideal client profile. He can first, obviously, he's talking to narcissistic abuse victims. So people who have been abused by narcissists or have been in a relationship with a narcissist. And he can, for example, first of all, talk about the enemy. So he can talk about narcissist outside perspective when he's talking about the narcissist, what they do. So for example, can a narcissist change? There we go. Then he can talk about an abuse victim inside perspective. So talk about the ICP's inside feelings, what the inside world. The first one is more of a reach content because it doesn't really make people personal problem aware. But the second one is a personal transformational piece content, because this actually makes people personal problem aware. Brian is helping them understand their internal emotional state and helping them understand themselves. So here, for example, 5 traits of someone who dates or marries a narcissist. This helps people understand themselves, understand their problems, and get a deeper understanding of where they are in their life. And then lastly, he could talk about general things. So these are more like facts a little bit. So conveying facts and connections between facts to the audience. This is definitely a reach content. So this is not always a personal transformation piece, but it could turn into one. And for example, this one where Brian is talking about how trauma is visible in real life. So if trauma was visible, this is presenting a definition sort of. So this is traffic. This is how you can structure your content. This is how you can talk to your ICP and get them to say, that looks interesting. I must stick around and find out more. This is how you can get them to say that. So how do you then get people to book a call with a good lead mechanism? So good lead mechanism is not necessarily a landing page. It's not necessarily an email sequence. It's not necessarily a story sequence, but it can be all of them. So the only point is that, for example, here in the lead mechanism, after someone watches Brian's content, they get to his profile and get to his IG stories. So these are story sequences. And you can see that in this sequence, for example, we are launching a new program, the Breakthrough Paradigm Protocol. And here we are running people through who this is for, why it works. So we give them proof and how to take the next steps if they are interested in making progress on their specific healing journey. So this is the lead mechanism, which can then be supported by these story sequences. It can be supported by having a landing page with a strategically structured VSL over there, a video sales letter that is, and by sending emails to people. So actually building a mailing list, and then from the mailing list also including value in the emails, and from those valuable emails including call to actions, which then lead people to the calendar booking, and then, then they book calls. So in summary, the only point of the lead mechanism is to get people to say the following: I need the promised results and I think it could work for me, and then get them to book a call. This is the only point of a lead mechanism. You can get them to book a call in the direct messages, so texting with them. You can get them to book a call by calling them. This is the appointment setting procedure that you can also use. But you can also get them to book a call by simply having a story sequence and then posting the calendar link in your stories. So that's also a good way to get people on calls. Now, once you have people on calls, then obviously you are going to try to close them. That is the sales process side of things. When you're talking about the sales process, you want people to say that, I think that this has a high perceived likelihood of achievement. So I think that this will work for me. Second, I want the promised outcome. So I actually want what is promised. Thirdly, I think this is low effort and sacrifice compared to other alternatives. And lastly, I want them to say that this is low time delay compared to what I've seen so far. So this is done by a couple of things, but obviously I did not invent this framework over here. This is Alex Hormozi's value framework. So essentially you want people to see the value in what you offer and be certain that this is something that they find valuable. Now, a couple of ways that you can achieve that, I'm going into those in different videos because the sales process is a very extensive process and a very technical process at times. But essentially this part of the pitch deck that I've just shown you over here of Brian's pitch deck gives you clarity as to what you want people to see. You want people to see not only clearly how the program is structured, but also how it will work for them, who it has worked before, so social proof, and therefore increasing the perceived likelihood of achievement, increasing the promised outcome, and decreasing this effort and sacrifice, and decreasing the time delay. So this is what you have to do in the sales process. You have a couple of ways you can achieve that, but I don't want to get into those details because I want to keep this video high level enough so that you understand the goal of each and every step in your coaching business. So after the sales process, after you have closed them, the job is still not done. A lot of people let their clients go here, but this is probably the most important part that you need to perfect, because if your clients are happy, then you will have endless clients, endless referrals, and endless new people coming in. But if your product is crappy, if your service is crappy, then you will always be reliant on your marketing. So when you're onboarding people, the only thing that you want them to say is, all right, these guys or this guy are on top of their game. I'm happy I went with them. This is the only thing that you need them to say. And a very easy step that you can take from here is, for example, implementing an automated welcome email where, the people get instant clarity about what the next steps are, how they can structure their sessions, where they have to book a call, where they get access to their roadmap, where they get access to all of the software that you have inside of your business, and so on and so forth. Now, whenever you're building your onboarding, what I like to tell people is that building a world-class customer journey is taking on arising complexities internally, so yourself, instead of letting the customer deal with it and then working on eliminating it altogether. Because a great customer journey actually has the least amount of complexity possible, so it's as simple as possible. And whenever there is some sort of complexity, then try to always take it on internally and let the customer see nothing from that, so that they still have clarity and you handle the hard work. Because if you do things like that, then everyone will have a smooth experience in your business and your customers will be so much more happy afterwards. So we are at the point where you have closed them and onboarded them and they feel like they trust you and they feel like that they made the right decision. This is essentially all that we want. Then from there, you need to deliver your service. of course. And here, the only thing that you want them to say is that, wow, these results are amazing. I need to share this with other people, and I'm willing to, for example, make a testimonial interview. Now, a testimonial interview, for example, looks like this, which is then posted on YouTube and gets people to see that what you are doing actually works, and people are trusting in your process, and people have seen significant improvements and significant results with your process. Now, a lot of people think that their service delivery is not that easily improvable, because they do believe that whatever they do is already perfect and they can't improve with it. But in reality, you can always up the delivery structure, you can always improve the way you deliver things, you can always make it more effective. So how do you actually do that? First of all, you outline the deliverables and program phases. This should already be clear in the sales process. So this is the exact same document as it is over there. And a couple of points of improvement that you can take from there are, first, the transformation process. So actually the steps that you have in this program. Maybe a couple of steps are not needed. Maybe other steps are missing. Maybe you need to provide extra resources. Maybe you need to provide extra one-on-one sessions in order to get the best results. You can decide by improving the transformation process. Then second, you can improve the delivery structure, which a lot of people don't even think about. A lot of online coaches and consultants get stuck with the mindset that the only way to deliver the service is by doing one-on-one calls. And they completely forget that video modules and resources like a checklist or an item list are an option. So whenever you are improving the delivery structure, always think about alternative ways that your client can still get all the value they need, but you don't have to spend an hour on call with them. So let's say you have specific topics that you discuss with every single client of yours. Then don't discuss them on call with them. Just make a video module that you then send to them with their roadmap, with their detailed, structured and step-by-step roadmap, and include it in the roadmap and tell them to watch that video. And if they have still questions about it, then by all means, answer them. And then update the video later on when you see that a lot of people are asking the exact same questions. But still, always think about how you can make your delivery structure more effective, more efficient. Then lastly, also one thing that a lot of people don't think about is selecting their clients properly. So having the proper ICP. When we're talking about service delivery, the last thing people think about is their ideal client profile, because their ideal client profile should have been identified here in the traffic piece already. So you should already be picking and choosing who you're talking to in the beginning. So why is it relevant to the service delivery? Well, if you're talking to people who don't have a growth mindset, if you're talking to people who are cheap, so poor people, then it will always be harder to get them to take the next steps because they are not used to it yet. But if you're talking to people, for example, who are richer, more successful, have a growth mindset, then for them it will be so much easier to manage them and coach them because they have experience with, improving their life. They have experience with actually taking the necessary actions for success. So this is another point of improvement that a lot of people don't really take into account. And once you have went over all of these, then this is the exact client journey that can get you to $100,000 generated as a random Hungarian 20-year-old, or at least this is how I did it for me and my clients. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever it is here on YouTube. And if you're an online coach or consultant and you want to scale your business, then you can go down below. I offer free funnel audit where you and me go over your client acquisition system and we find the leaks and we identify the biggest constraints to fix them right on there on the call and draw up a clear roadmap that you can take from there. But if you prefer, you can also text me on Instagram. My Instagram is also in the description down below. Just DM me the word build. So DM me the word build so that I know that you're from YouTube and watch this video. And then we will brainstorm a plan together that's right for you. So it's BUILD. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video and you found some value in it. And I wish you a very nice day. Bye-bye.